I am Pradeep Singh, and this video is part of the video series which we have started at Triumph IAS to guide all those students who are preparing for the civil services examination, and we are guiding all the students in every aspect of the examination, be it prelims or mains or interview, or having the right mindset to appear in the examination, choosing the right optional and the things like that. In today's video, we are going to discuss that how to use the test series for the UPSC Civil Services Examination prelims preparation. The first advice which I would give to you is that before attempting any test or before giving any test series, just complete the syllabus of that test series, or just complete the syllabus which is given on the first page of that test, and after completing the syllabus, just attempt the test series and analyze that where you are committing the mistakes, or what is that gray area in which you are attempting more mistakes. So for example, if you are attempting any polity test, then you must cover all the chapters which are given in the test series, and after completing all those chapters, just give test directly. For example, if you are studying polity for 4 hours, once you have completed all the portions which are there in the test series, just after studying for 4 hours, just attempt the test series, and after attempting the test, just see that in which topics you are committing the mistakes, or what are your weak points in that subject. So likewise, for history, for geography, you may find out some topics in which you are not strong and in which you need to improve upon. So test series has that potential to provide you the insights that where you can improve upon and where you can study more, or what topics you have skipped during your preparation. The second advice, or I can say that the second question, is when to start giving the test. There are 3 options obviously, or you may have many options. According to me, there are 3 options. The first one is that when 2 months would be remaining for the test. So the first option is when 2 months would be left for the actual examination, you can start giving the test and analyze that where the scope of improvement. And the second option is when 1 month would be left for the actual examination. So these two are the period over which you can give the test, analyze your mistakes and improve upon that. And the third thing is you can also give the test whenever you complete the syllabus. So for example, if you are studying polity for 1 month and you have completed the polity portion, so just after completing the polity portion, give the test and analyze that which topics you have skipped, in which topics you are getting more wrong answers, and why are you getting more wrong answers, what were the weak points which you did while preparing for that portion. Similarly, if you are studying history for 15 to 20 days, just after studying all those part, give the test and analyze that where you can improve upon what are the areas. Like for example, if you have skipped the medieval portion and you are getting more wrong answers in medieval, then study about medieval history from some book sources, and again appear for that test, or appear for the test belonging to the previous year, and get the improved score, because improvement is the benchmark in the test series, and that should be kept in mind, that marks should not be focused upon. For example, if you are giving any test and you are getting 50 to 60 marks, that does not matter. What actually matters is that how much you are improving upon. For example, if you are getting 60 marks, then in the next test your score must be 62 or 65 and not 59, because improvement should be the benchmark. And in the next test 70, then 72, 75, and likewise you can go and increase your score up to 100 or 120 and get in the list. So that is the right mindset to approach in the test series. So these 3 are the options. You can, I think, use this option as well, because I did this thing when I completed the whole syllabus of the prelims by November or in the starting of December. When I completed the syllabus, I started giving the test. For example, I gave the test of polity from the Vision Coaching, and I saw that I did not score well because I had read in hurry, or I had covered the syllabus in entirety, but I had not given time to revision. Therefore, I stopped giving the test. I revised the polity portion, I revised the history portion, and I revised them multiple times, and then again I started giving the test, and I saw that there was an improvement in my score. And therefore you can use this strategy, and you can also give the test after completing your syllabus. And if you are scoring well, then also you should revise the portions multiple times, and then again give the test and see that yes, you are improving or not. The third thing is that I would advise you that when 2 months or 1 month would be left for the examination, whatever time period you are giving the test, just subscribe to the test series of 2 or 3 good coachings. I think 2 would be more than sufficient if you are attempting the exam for the first time. So any 2 good coachings you can take, and you can bring the test of those 2 coachings at your home and start giving the test. But the thing must be kept in mind that you should give the test in the controlled environment, and there should be pressure in your mind while attempting the test, because what happens in the actual examination is that when you would be in that environment in the actual examination, there would be a lot of pressure going on your mind, and you would be marking the answers as wrong even if you know the answer, because there would be pressure and there would be burden on your mind. So you should give the test in the controlled environment and have the feel of that environment which you are going to face in the actual examination. So believe me, if you are completing the test of the test series in 1.5 hours or 70 or 80 minutes, you are going to take more time, much more time in the actual examination, because that is a different thing, completely different thing. So always keep this in mind, that do not give test in the relaxed manner or in an environment in which you are free, or you are having some snacks, or you are drinking something and giving the test. Always give the test in a surrounding where you are having pressure on your mind, and you are having pressure of scoring good marks, because that gives you a right mindset to sit in the actual examination, and that is what the benefit of test series is. So you must solve around 80 to 100 tests if you are attempting for the first time, and for the second attempters I would recommend that you can solve 50 to 60 tests, provided that you have earlier cleared the examination. And if not cleared earlier, then also I think you should give 80 to 90 tests, including the tests of 2 or 3 good coachings. So if you are solving the test series of 2 good coachings, then it would make around 74 to 75 tests, and by that you would solve around 7,500 questions. And after that also you can give some sectional tests and improve or increase the number of questions which you are solving in the test series to 10,000 questions, because by that you would have a confidence in your mind, and that would boost your morale that you have solved around 10,000 questions, and the more 100 questions which would come in the examination would not defeat you. And believe me, if you are solving 10,000 questions, then at least 5 to 10 questions are going to be repeated in the actual examination. And when in the actual examination you would see any question coming from the test series, then your confidence would be on a higher sky, and you would feel that yes, you are clearing this examination. Because the same thing happened with me. There were 5 to 10 questions which directly came from the test series, and I did not need any time to solve those questions, and I felt very great that my hard work is being paid off. Therefore, if you are solving 10,000 or more than 10,000 questions, then it would increase your knowledge base, it would boost your confidence, and it would bring you in an area where you have larger knowledge base, and you have larger tendency to score more marks in the prelims examination. So solving more questions also does not only improve your possibility of scoring good marks, but also it kind of improves your attempt to correct ratio, or improves your guesswork. For example, if you are solving any question and you do not know the answer of that question, and you are making a guess and you are getting your guess correct, then believe me, that confidence plays a key role in the actual examination, because there you will have a feel that your guesses are going right, and if you would not know any answer, then you would make a guess and that guess would be correct. Because UPSC is what I think is a game of confidence, and if you have a confidence, then your guesses would be correct. And if you do not have confidence, and if you are lacking confidence, then even if you are knowing the answer, and even if you have read that thing, then also you will mark the question as incorrect, because you do not have confidence. And one more advice I would give here, that whenever you are solving the test series, always see that if you are seeing the question and you are having the 4 options, just see the question, and just after seeing the question, see all the 4 options which are there in the front of you. and once you saw all the 4 options, just read your mind that what your mind is saying. The first option which your mind is saying as correct answer, just mark that answer as correct, and you would get that answer as correct, because it happens, it is normal tendency of our mind that the thing which we have read anywhere, any time in our life, our mind reads it first. And therefore, after seeing all those 4 options, read your mind and develop this habit of reading your mind, that what your mind is saying. If your mind is saying that C is the answer, then mark C and get that answer as correct, because your mind is saying true. And if you are not able to read your mind and you are confusing yourself in marking C or D, and you would mark D and you would get it incorrect. So if you have read that thing anywhere, any time in your life, then your mind would suggest you that please mark C. And that happens with me, because I was a keen quizzer during my school or college days, and therefore I know this. I have felt that your mind always says you, and your mind always advises you to go on the right path. Therefore, read your mind and develop this habit of reading your mind during attempting all the tests. And if you are solving 10,000 questions, then after solving every question you should have this habit, that you should know that what your mind is saying. You should inquisitively read your mind. And after that, I would advise you that whenever you are solving any test, after solving the test, just see that what is if you are solving sectional test, then see the topics in which you are committing the mistakes, and again go back to that subject and read that topic and make that topic your forte. That that topic in that topic you should be in such position that whenever any question comes in any next test, then you should be able to mark that question as correct. And after that, if any current affairs portion is there, then please make the note out of that test and make a copy, or subject wise copy, or you can make a single copy in which you would make the notes out of the test series. If any question is going incorrect, then also make notes, and if any question is going correct, then also make notes. You should make notes out of those things which you are reading for the first time or which you have skipped during your preparation. Again, I think next advice which I should give to you is that first solve the sectional test, and after solving the sectional test you should start giving the full length test, because when you are solving that sectional test, then you are making your all the subjects stronger, and you are following an approach which I call as sabka saath sabka vikas. That means you are developing every subject as your forte, and once you have made history as your forte, you should go to make polity as your forte, and once 3 or 4 subjects are within your reach, then no one can stop you from clearing the examination, at least prelims. And after clearing the prelims, just see that how you can appear for the mains. So first solve the sectional test and see the scope of improvement, that if you are getting 50 to 60 questions right in polity, then there is a scope of improvement. There is a scope of improvement of around 10 to 15 questions, and once you reach the benchmark of 70 to 75 questions in sectional test, just stop giving the sectional test of that subject and see that in which subject you are getting a score of less than 100 or 120 in any subject. For example, if in science and technology, that happened with me, that in science and technology I was getting around 50 to 55 questions as correct when I was at the starting point of giving the test. But at the end of that period, when I finished giving the tests of test series, I was getting the around 65 to 70 questions as correct in the science and technology portion. That was the weakest area which I was having during my preparation, and in the strongest areas I had polity, history and geography, in which I was always getting score of around 120 or 130 marks or 140 marks in the test. So the subjects in which you are strong, you should give lesser time to that subject, and the subjects in which you are weak, you should give more time to that, because that demands an improvement, and that is the subject which is lagging, in which you are lagging behind. And the sixth advice would be that you should give the syllabus wise test. For example, if you are giving the polity test, then give the syllabus wise test. For example, if for the first 15 chapters there are tests, then give the test related to those 15 chapters. Just once you have read all those 15 chapters, give the test and see that where you can improve upon, or where you have committed the mistakes. After that, there is one key thing in attempting the test, and that is attempt to correct ratio, and that is the most crucial part, that is the most crucial thing which plays a key role in you and and that is the most crucial thing in your entire preparation in appearing in the test series and in the possibility which you are having for clearing this examination, and that is attempt to correct ratio. That means if you are attempting 90 questions, then out of those 90 questions, how many questions you are getting correct? Because what happens in the actual examination is that your performance depends on how many questions you are attempting. If you are attempting 70 questions, then you are kind of inviting a risk where you would get around 50 questions correct and 20 questions wrong, and that would make your score of around 87 or 88 marks, and that would bring you in a position where you would not be able to clear the examination. So see that if you are attempting 70 questions, then you must be able to get around 65 or 66 questions as correct to be in a position to clear the examination. Therefore, if you are attempting 90 questions, then you can afford to commit some mistakes, and you can afford to get 20 or 25 odd questions as incorrect, because 90 questions is a big benchmark. And therefore, I think most of the students which I have seen, whom I have met, they attempt around 90 or 95 questions to be in a safe side, because if you are attempting 95 questions, then you are kind of having a confidence, or you are kind of having a possibility that you would get at least 70 questions correct, even if you have got 25 questions wrong. And if you get 70 questions correct, then that would be 140 and minus around 60, then it goes around 25 marks, and the cutoff has never been above 120, so you would be in a safe position. So therefore, whenever you are attempting any full length test, for example, if you are attempting any full length test, then see that if you are attempting 80 questions, you are getting above 60 or not, and if you are not getting above 60, then improve this attempt to 85, and then see that you are getting 62 correct or not, and if not, then improve this to 90, and then see that you are getting 65 questions as correct or not, because improvement should be the benchmark. And this number of questions which you are attempting in the actual examination decides your future, that whether you would sit in the mains examination or not. And therefore, my advice would be to thoroughly analyze that full length test. I would also tell you that how to sit in the full length test series, and how to analyze the test which you have given, the full length test. The next advice would be to improve guesswork. See, in the actual examination, no one knows more than 50 or 60 questions, or the answers of 50 to 60 questions, and the remaining 30 questions are the guesswork. When I sat in the 2018 examination, I knew the answer of around 55 questions, and after those 55 questions, I just made a guesswork. Out of the 55 questions which the answers of which I knew, I got around 45 to 50 as correct and 5 to 10 as wrong. And out of the guesswork which I had done the guesswork for around 35 questions. That is, I had attempted around 90 questions, and out of those 90 questions, I got around 65 to 66 questions as correct. Therefore, it is your performance depends on how many questions you are attempting, and therefore you should always improve your guesswork, because you see, whenever you are attempting any test, you would not know the answers of the questions of more than 50 to 55 questions, and therefore whenever you are attempting any test, just follow this pattern. First, you should solve those questions about which you are sure that you would get that question as correct. For example, 45 or 50 questions you are solving right. So in the first round, solve around 45 to 50 questions in which you are confident enough that you would get that question as correct. In the second round, follow the elimination method. Elimination method is a technique in which you are kind of having a confusion that either A is correct or B is correct. So you are having a confusion for around two options. If 4 options are there, then for example A, B, C and D, and you are thinking that A and D are not the answers, you are sure that either C is the answer or B is the answer, and here you should use the elimination technique, and the elimination technique must be followed in the second round. In the first round, only those questions must be attempted in which you are sure that this is the answer, and in the third round guesses must be there. For example, here you are attempting 50 questions. By following the elimination method, you have solved 30 questions, but then also you are not reaching the score of the benchmark of 90 questions. Therefore, now you should guess the answers of 10 questions, and here the guesswork helps you, because if you have solved more than 10,000 questions, then you are having a mindset of appearing in the examination, and you know that how can you make a good guess. Because here also I would advise you that for improving the guess for the actual examination, solve the previous year papers of previous 10 years. When 10 days would be left for the actual examination, solve the test of previous year. Each, for example, the exam is on 2nd of June, then you should start giving the previous year paper from 22nd of May. On 22nd, give the test of 2012. On 23rd, give the test of 2013, and likewise you can solve the previous year papers of last 10 years, and by that you would know that how UPSC tries to trick you in the questions, and there are some if, only, not, but, and that helps you in making a good guess. Therefore, when you would see that yes, there is a scope of making a guess of around 8 to 10 questions, then make a good guess and try to improve your score. Now I would tell you about the technique which you should use to analyze how you have performed in the full length test. If you are giving any full length test, then that full length test would include the questions from all the subjects. For example, there would be questions from history, polity, environment, science, or economy, or current affairs. So make an index. Once you have attempted all the questions from that full length test, make an index like this. This is history, polity, history, science and technology, environment, economy, geography, current affairs. These are the 7 sections in which you have to improve upon. So if you have attempted a full length test, and let us assume a figure that in that full length test which has around 100 questions, there are 15 questions from polity, 15 from history, 15 from science and technology, 15 from environment, 15 from economy, 15 from geography, and 10 from current affairs. So this makes a total of around 100 questions. Now see that how much you have attempted. For example, if you have attempted 12 questions, then see that how many questions you have opted as correct. Like if you have attempted as 10 questions as correct, here 12, 10, let us take the same figure. Here 10 out of 10. So in polity you have attempted 12 questions and you have got 10 questions as correct. Here the same figure, and this makes total 100 questions. You have attempted 82 questions and you have got 70 questions as correct. So this is your scoring pattern, that if you are attempting 10 questions in polity, you are getting 12 questions as correct. You are attempting 10 questions in history, 12 questions in history, then you are getting 10 questions as correct. So this advises you that how many questions you should attempt out in that particular subject. For example, if in actual examination in history there would be 20 questions, then if in the full length test you are getting 10 out of 12, then in the actual test you must attempt around 18 to 20 questions. But if you are not getting 10 as correct out of the 12 questions, and if you are getting around 6 or 7 questions as correct, then you must be mindful when you are attempting the actual examination, and you must attempt around 14 to 15 questions, and 5 questions must be left if you do not know the answer, and do not make a good guess. Do not make a guess at all in that subject in which you are not strong at all and in which you are not performing in the examination. So for example, if you are getting 6 out of 12 as correct, then after attempting the full length test, go back to history, study and study all those topics in which you are getting the questions as wrong. So here there is a scope of improvement, here there is no scope of improvement, and therefore it must be left. For example, if it is not 10 and if it is 8, then there is a scope of improvement, and it should be your second priority, and first priority should be this. This should not be the priority, because you are getting the correct answers. Here also there is no scope of improvement, and this must be the last priorities. This must not be the priority in the last phase, and this should be the first priority, this should be the second priority. So and after attempting a first full length test, this is first full length test. Follow the similar pattern in the next tests. For example, if you are attempting the full length test, any full length test of any coaching for the second time, the second test, then again analyze that whether this percentage remains the same, or this percentage is going up, or this percentage is going down. If again you get 10 questions correct out of 12, then you must be confident that yes, you would score good marks in polity in the actual examination. And if again here you are getting 6 to 7 questions as correct, then there should be an attention in your mind that this can let you down in the actual examination, and therefore you must study this subject. So this is actually a technique which you should use to analyze that how you are committing the mistakes and how you can improve upon that. And at last I would like to say that by solving every test you must improve upon. For example, when I started giving the tests, I was scoring around So this was actually the technique which you can use to analyze how you are performing in the test and how you can improve in any particular subject. And at last I would like to say that marks should not be the basis of analysis of any performance. Improvement should be the basis, and if you are getting 70 marks in the starting phase, then while finishing all the tests you must be getting the score of around 110 to 120, and in the end you should see that whether you are able to score more marks or not. And even if you are not scoring good marks at the finishing point, then also you must be confident in appearing in the examination, because confidence plays a key role, and it may be that your luck would be with you and you would get more than 70 to 80 questions as correct, even if you are not scoring good marks in the test series. So do not bother that whether you are scoring 70 marks or 80 marks or 60 to 50 marks in the test series, because that does not matter at all. And actual examination is completely different from the test series. Test series is just for improving your knowledge base, improving your knowledge bank, and it's just for the sake of analysis that how weak or how strong you are in a particular subject. That does not matter at all, and that does not help you in getting good marks in actual examination. In actual examination your performance would be completely different, and believe me, go with full confidence, you would get good marks and you would come with the flying colors. All the best to all the aspirants who are aspiring for this year or who are aspiring for the next year. Best of luck.